wanted to speak something about the astrology, to be honest,
As
because
in,
what is super interesting to me, what I found recently, is that when you look at which planets govern charts, it's basically letting you know, in other words, I'm talking about houses right now. So, for example, third house is governed by moon, but if we look at the zodiacs, uh, it can be that, for example, Taurus is in your third house, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So there's this connection that most probably the themes from the third house, which would be siblings, relatives, travel, and that would be Queen in oppose. So that would be not necessarily Queen. That would be like goddess. That would, yeah. And if you have Venus in that house, so that would most probably mean that you have like a loving relationship with your siblings.
I
Well,
mean,
for
it's
example, if you look at my chart, I have a Scorpio, and Scorpio is very pointy. It can harm you. And that was exactly how my relationship went with my brother. So that's interesting that you can basically deduce more and more information as you learn more and more principalities of how
also
the
Venus
systems
is
work. And Mhm.
connected to like the values one holds in aesthetics, maybe even
Yes,
art. So it can
yes,
just basically give you a how do you call it, a key, I guess, to understanding. Like as you said, you have Scorpio, so it's connected to your relationships, and like when it's Venus, it's more like arts, aesthetics, values, relationships. So it's just like a sort of a key to understanding how things may proceed.
yes, yes. And so the Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a planet of war. So there you have my relationship with my brother, just written down on my natal chart. It's really incredible how much you can draw from those things. Because as the more you understand planets, signs, elements, uh, whether it's mutable, fixed, or yeah, the third category, it all like reveals more and more and more and more and more. And then you look at the aspects and you try to connect aspects, and it's like a never-ending story, a never-ending study. I
Mm.
think it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, as we just talked before, even like recording, it's like picking your own assistant that just fits you as a person, learning all there is to learn, and expanding upon it with other systems. So just like getting a bigger grasp. So that's really cool. Like having a basic understanding of everything and just like specializing in a single one, and then later on exactly how we're doing with our own like even studies is just comparing what I know, what you know, and just the whole system clicks. Like even though they may be different, everything just sort of clicks together.
Yes, Eckhart Tolle has this quote that I love. Theologians may quarrel, but mystics of the world speak the same language, and well, all divinatory means that there are to our disposal are basically tools of self-discovery, and all works and all bring different insights. It's just how do you utilize it? Because any knowledge that is not used is basically wasted. Oh, you wasted time because you wanted to understand your Venus, but you're not gonna do any changes about it. You're not gonna live your life in
According
any
to that
different
knowledge.
way.
Yeah. It's sort of cool because if you really dedicate yourself to the study of a certain subject, you increase the probability of the fact that the knowledge that you gain will be used somehow. I mean, at least that's what I believe in, that there is something up there which basically just guides you along the way as you discover it, as you start to master it, and later on in using it. Like, there was this quote, I don't remember, but God will provide you with the ways of using your knowledge. So
Yes,
basically
yes.
trusting the process. It's going back to like the basic principles. And it's funny because a person knowing their like planets governing or zodiacs governing their aspects of personality or even their body is just like a cheat code, I guess. So
Yeah.
a spreadsheet which basically gives you this look. This is how your life is going to probably work out, and basically do try to do your best with your provided options.
Yes. It's the game of poker. You were dealt a certain hand. Now it's up to you to play that.
Yeah, I mean, you can either despise it. I think at a certain point it's like first you discover it, like the basic fundamentals of your personality using any system. So for example, for me it was like human design. Um, you look at your cards, right? So your hand, and you're like, oh my god, what is this? Why am I playing it like this? I like the other hand better. I like the hands of other people better. I want
Yes.
that hand. I want that hand for me. And it's just like, and it's the not self-talking, like the untrue version of yourself, which basically doesn't even look at your own cards and doesn't even try to figure out what it can do with them. Instead, it's just like looking at others and it's just like, this is interesting. I want this for myself. I want this for myself. And just discarding what you initially have. And
Yeah, but
after a
that's
while, after a while, you just go back to looking at your own hand and you're like, oh, this is actually quite interesting. I kind of like it.
yeah, exactly. But it comes from acceptance, and acceptance is very closely related to love. So it's whether you can accept what you are and then love that thing, so that you can make a life that you deserve. I've
Exactly.
had this problem recently that basically like all of my drive towards life fell off because like I've treated one of the traumas I had, that I didn't feel enough as a man after like a situationship that I was in. And after I healed that, there's no like drive towards going anywhere because, well, if I am enough, then why do anything? And now I'm trying to discover a new mode of being, like a new thing that would motivate me. And what comes and makes the most sense is that, well, I want to make my life great because I deserve this life. And you see, it's coming from love. So it will be nurturing, and over the years, it will result in a life that I deserve. But when I was living my life out of this lack that I had inside of me, that, oh, I am not enough. This is energy, and you can utilize dark energy, like energy coming from trauma. You can integrate your shadow, but often not healed traumas lead to destruction that you slowly burn off if you go on this toxic fuel.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even call it? The best usage for this energy is like transmutation. So using the negative to turn it into a positive, and the best fuel is the positive energy. Like we all know that the fire doesn't burn without air, and the dark energy is basically lack of it. It's like it's what suppresses the flame. So you're kind of turning this absence of air into air, which gives the sustainment to the fire. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
did.
it creates a hole in your heart in the long term. That's the
True, true. It's like using the negative energy to do something. It's not sustainable. Like I think most of us did try to do something out of spite, out of resentment, out of anything negative, and at a certain point you realize that you no longer have the energy or the capacity to push it forward. It's
yeah.
it kind of
And
loses control. You lose control even.
yeah, it leaves you isolated and alienated. Basically,
Yeah.
just, yeah, but it's not coming from love. I don't know. I feel like at least for this reality that we are in, love is a certain principle that is perhaps stronger than any other one. Some people might say that it's actually power, that there is no real love without power, and I kind of agree, because you need to be strong in order to protect what you deem valuable. It's
Richard
just that,
Wagner had like a quote that only the strong know love because love is just surrender to an equally strong force. So, in a sense, when you love, you basically reveal the soft belly of yourself to another being that is able to destroy you all the same. And
yeah, that's
this
what
is
I
how
would
it's love.
also say.
Yeah, so you have to be strong because only the strong know love by surrendering, in a sense.
Yeah, that's very Jordan Peterson. You have to be a monster. But I agree with that. You have to be a monster, and then you have to learn how to control it. Because if you can't, like, punch a person that is attacking you, well, there's a certain problem with your masculinity, I think. Because you should be able to provide and protect at some basic level. Like, I think we just can't escape the programming we have because of being in this human body, because of the evolution that happened of over all of those years. Some may say that, well, we were engineered by those aliens, and that's why our DNA is so strange. That's where the brain growing so fast is coming from. Sure, it could have happened, but at the end of the day, it's still that our species is very closely related to apes, which are animals. So there are animalistic urges inside of us. There is a certain history written in our DNA, and there's no escaping that.
I mean, all we can do is evolve, right? All we can do is evolve. Uh,
Yeah,
it's like,
what is evolution for you?
oh, that's a good question. So, for me right now, because I don't really see evolution. So for me, it's like reaching a certain point that leads to the next great thing. So, for example, um, I was at a certain point not using my brain fully, as in I didn't want to study anything. I was just like consuming content and just basically numbing myself. And next point of evolution for me right now is fully utilizing my brain because I realize I actually do enjoy learning. I actually do enjoy like actually utilizing my capacity to evolve, to gain more information, to become wiser. So there is this like a breakthrough point, and my subjective opinion is evolution is gathering enough resources or moving energy to a certain point through which you can reach a breakthrough in your life, in the lives of others, and then the next evolution can come. It's a cyclical process from which you gather
Yes,
you gather, you reach a breakthrough, and this breakthrough leads to a next cycle of evolution. And it's just like evolution, evolution, evolution. And it's funny because it's palpable. You see the results, and I see the results. Like I can actually think more clearly right now. Like my brain is slowly realizing that it actually wants to learn again. Because as a kid, when we are like pure, when we know the best, actually, like I think that kid knowledge is the best pure knowledge that the human body can have. So when I was a kid, I loved learning books. I was a bookworm through and through. I even sometimes missed out on other people just so I could stay inside and read books. Then I didn't like reading books. And again, I am relearning to love learning, basically.
wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. I guess for me, evolution is a little bit different. I agree on most things that you said. Where I would differ is that I would say that it's a movement forward, but as you said, it's like right and left, right and left. It can't be only be right. It has to be governed by the principle of rhythm. that basically the movement of the pendulum to the left can be measured by the move of the pendulum to the right. So what I'm trying to point out is that before a big expansion that will happen in your life, there often will be times that of constriction, because that's how the life moves. You basically have to contract, gather resources so that you can expand. You like a supernova, just do boom, boom, and you reach a breakthrough. Exactly like you said.
Yeah, and sometimes you you forget it that there are the times when everything feels like a slog, everything just doesn't click. Um, and it's funny getting reminded of those times, especially when you've been in this like really really good expansion point in your life, just like going constantly up 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 up, and then you reach a certain point where you cannot physically or like even universally go further. You just have to wait, and the waiting time, oh my god, it's
I hate it. I hate it so
yes,
much.
yes, like getting reminded of it, especially I think most people even felt like it was right now. I mean, for me myself, I only feel like I'm moving forward again since like I don't know 3 or 4 days, maybe three, something like this, and like past month, even longer, it felt like an uphill battle. Like
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
was moving, nothing was happening, and I was. It's reached a certain point of desperation, but I finally kind of understood again as I'm moving forward that I kind of needed this rest period where nothing happened, where I actually didn't want to work, like even physically, even mentally, because it was like recharging and gathering again resou- resources in terms of energy uh, to move forward again.
Yeah, seasons of life. Life comes in seasons. Sometimes it's better to study hard. Sometimes it's better to just go on more walks, you know? And I didn't utilize the recent time very well because I basically just devolved. And it wasn't this type of development where you take care of yourself, you rest. I was just all of the time basically in some horrible emotions, but it was mostly due to what I was doing, how I was conducting my life, and it basically just was a tough lesson of the basics, getting the basics right again. Because if you put work into your life, there will be opportunities that show your way, but you have to be prepared for them. And there is a saying that luck is nothing more than preparation reaching opportunity. But you need to be prepared to claim the opportunity that comes to your door. And well, I didn't do that. Well, now I know that well before the expansion that will come with this year, I just need to again start laying bricks and slowly build the life that I want to live. Because with with this psychological pattern that left me, that well I am enough, I need to find another drive to do things, to like just live life, because without like this I'm not enough, I'm not enough, not waking up and screaming inside, there's a certain amount of peace and like an acceptance that well I just don't have to do anything. But now it has to be, I think, transmuted to I want to do things because I want to have an amazing life because I deserve this life. And this subtle shift, like, I think will serve me very well in the long term. But going through that now was certainly disturbing because
Two
it was like,
steps forward, one step back. Again, the swing of
yeah,
pendulum.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
So this is a funny thing because, like, at least in human design, there's this gate 29. So like a specific energy that a person can have, and it's the gate of saying yes. It's like saying yes to life, saying yes to experiences. Isn't it's like jumping into them, and aside from anything, I learned that saying, the more you say yes to like anything that is happening to you, even bad things, like saying yes, okay, this is this experience, I needed it to grow, I needed it, and saying yes, I needed it, more and more things start happening. It's like a train that starts to roll. It's like you're
Yes.
saying yes, yes, and this pressure builds, 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 and it just explodes forward, again, forward, moving, moving, and like remembering to say yes to everything, like within reason, of course. Um, Basically makes your life feel, how do you call it? Like it's doing, like life's actually happening to you. So because I was at a certain point in my life, I was saying just no to anything. I was stagnant, not doing anything, just saying no. Actually, refusing myself to do anything for the sake of others, like sacrificing my own yes for others. Yes, and this is what like really, really didn't stick within me internally, that I didn't listen. And right now, I'm just saying yes to everything. And lo and behold, my life, it's like night and day, like to the period that was happening beforehand and right now. It's amazing. So learning to say yes, to keep on moving forward, it's incredible.
Yes, I agree. But there is this certain kind of principle, let's say, that is governing this realm that when you say yes to things, that's okay, that's great, that's fantastic. But when you attach yourself, oh, that's a first step to hell, in my opinion. Have you noticed that anytime you attach yourself to a person, to an idea that, well, they are this way, and if we continue this, then this will be like that, and you start daydreaming about them, then basically everything goes to shit very quickly? I've realized that whenever I'm not attached to a girl, whenever I'm not interested, then the relationship just flows. But whenever she show me any type of interest, I just start being attached and involved more than I would like to be in the relationship, and it goes to shit very quickly. Have you noticed that? I also
Um,
noticed the same pattern occurring in
hmm.
crypto trading, that basically if you just trade, if you follow the formula, well, that's easy. That's very easy to do good trading, basically. But whenever you attach yourself to, oh, this coin is going there, then you miss opportunities, you end up losing money because you stick to m- too much to a single coin instead of just developing your portfolio. So in that perspective, it would just be yourself. Instead of developing yourself, you start to put too much energy into what can this relationship bring to my life? How can this make me whole? It's
I have a
externalizing. Hmm.
I have a different perspective. So I like attaching myself to things. I actually like being connected to a thing, a person, an idea. Um, but what doesn't work is attaching yourself to the expectation of a thing, because you expect for it to go a certain way. You
Yes.
expect it to go just how you imagine it. And again, it's the fantasy, it's the mind saying things, it's not listening to your like heart. And whenever I enter into something with expectation of it going a certain way, I either get completely disappointed or it actually goes even better than myself. So it's like it's basically two extremes. It's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. And whenever I, again, right now, get those feelings of fantasy, of expectation, I just catch myself and say, stop, okay, this is fantasy. I know it's like playing in my head. I cannot kind of stop it because it happens naturally. So I just let it play out, or like stop it and use certain techniques to get rid of it in my from my own mind. Because whenever I enter into something just for the pure sake of experience, it's way better. It's like really, really good. And whenever I enter into something with my own expectation, so a unhealthy attachment, it goes to shit. So
Yeah, exactly. It even like you can even see it when you practice meditation. Whenever you just go through the motions, and well, you don't go through the motions. You actually try, but you don't have expectation of how it will go, what will be the experience of that. Then in most cases, the experience is better, more valuable to you. So
yes,
the thing that I actually do to stop myself from daydreaming is related to the Christ Center, because the Kabbalah, that would be like a sphere of sun, that's Tiparef. And with the Christ Center, there are three magical images, but I really like the person dying on the cross. It doesn't have to be Jesus. It can also be a black tree, and this person is crucified to the black tree. But I very much like the image of Jesus dying on the cross, because Tiparev is also attached to our imagination. So, how I understand Christ dying on the cross is that basically God, as he made this unperfect creation, so that there can be drama. I understand it that well, without that we live in a dual reality here on Earth, and that without hot you couldn't have cold, so that you need good and evil to order to have anything. So it's imperfect, just by the definition of how it's set up. And how I understand Jesus dying on the cross is basically saying that whatever happens here, it's on me. I take it. It's like, here, I will let you play. I let play myself, in fact, this game. But anything that happens with the consciousness of others will be resolved by me, because that's my creation. So any suffering that you experience, God basically takes on you. That's what it means that Jesus takes on to himself all of the sins that, yeah, they are forgiven before they even happen. It's like, sure, I just created this reality to have drama, to let it be anything. And you can experience it, you can have it, that's fine. So, when I understand that basically just whenever I hurt myself, I hurt God, who I love very much, and I try to live my life as if he is real and as if he is good and cares for me. I imagine Jesus dying on the cross whenever those daydreaming scenarios happen, because that basically reminds me that my imagination was given to me not so that it can be wasted on me hurting myself and hurting God through that, but as a tool to be utilized to make the creation more perfect. Because I think we are here on this earth with all the capacities that we have to actually help God perfect the creation that He made. Because there is a possibility of it being the way it should be, of us ascending as a species collectively. But it
evolving.
demands from us, yes, it demands from us work, and it demands of us striving towards love, I think. I think love.
Yeah, love is the basic principle. It's like the principle, at least here in this Maya, in this realm of,
Yeah,
you know.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
I think there is a balance to everything. So again, as you said, it's using imagination in this case in a positive manner. So, for example, imagining yourself doing something, or hyping yourself up by imagining yourself completing something, or imagining yourself, already being somewhere where you want to be. Sort of like creating a certain. There's this how do you call it, gestalt. So a simplified internal aspect of many parts. So basically,
what you do is you gestalt yourself being in a place, but how you reach that place, with whom, whenever, it's kind of a mystery. You simplify anything that you want into imagining yourself already being there, already having it, and letting it play out, attracting it in a way, manifesting it, you would even say. Because imagination is a great tool, a powerful tool, but if it is run by the mind, there is a great capacity for misuse, for a personal even level, for a personal
Yes,
evil.
yes, because intellect is a very good servant, but it's an absolutely lousy master.
Exactly. And the more you understand it, the more you see yourself just being like, oh, wait, I'm thinking too much, I'm thinking too much.
Yes,
I should be using the mind to do the thinking, but not thinking too much.
yes, but I think it differs a little bit for you and for me because my
Exactly, yeah.
whole personality is basically built on the intellect and on thinking, but that also means that the thing that I will benefit most from is working with the emotions and strengthening them. Because if you have a faculty that is particularly strong inside of you, name anything, its polarity will be most probably weak. And you, by working it, you resolve basically the conflict that is between them. So intellect, emotion, and if you try to work with them, try to work with the feeling, with letting them be, not trying to control them, because mind wants to control everything, minds want to be certain about how it will
Oh,
be, where are we
of course.
heading. If you work with the another polarity, you basically just unlock a powerful duo that both can work miracles, because
Yeah.
there is time to do a leap of faith in your life and just say fuck it. I let the dice roll and say, God, I put trust in you. Wherever you want, I will go there. But there is also a time and place for strategizing, for building the empire, for laying the bricks day by day with a plan. So
It's like
both
playing
are
to your
useful.
strengths. Playing to your strengths because, I mean, like your talent, you would say, it's like really getting deep into a certain subject. It's like a logical circuit,
Yeah.
creative understanding, getting down to the bottom of things. Meanwhile, for me, it's more like imagination. It's more connected to the um, projection of possibilities. I think that's the best description I can give. It's my mind coming up with thousands upon thousands of scenarios, eliminating those that don't seem to be perfect, and just trying to stick to the ones that do. It's more connected to like abstraction, um, maybe like history, even experience. Like I base my thinking on experience, whereas I think you base your own experience on like principles, forms, and concepts which do work.
Yeah, most probably. I need to have a framework to understand a reality. That's why I love Kabbalah. But the problem with Kabbalah is that it's very fucking complex and it's very nerdy. So even though you can be great at Kabbalah, if you don't have a language to use for it, it will be futile in your endeavors because people will just see you as a psycho that doesn't know how to translate what he knows as to a language that is understandable for most people. So that's what I'm trying to do actually, because by working with Kabbalah, by imagining the sephiras with their magical images, you gain a lot of insights about the inner workings of this reality and of yourself. And you don't really need to use Kabbalah to explain them to others. I realized recently. So I have this struggle right now that I don't know if I want to create videos about Kabbalah because I think that if people want to learn it, there should be good videos about it. But I know that it's so fucking nerdy that perhaps just saying to people, go read the Unfortunate Mystical Kabbalah. That like I won't do a better job. It may be just an inspiration for people.
You forget that people do tend to be lazy. I mean, at least the ones that kind of don't understand what it's all about. I'm not trying to sound like a preacher or anything, but out of sheer experiential way, we tend to be really, really lazy. So I think that specific videos for a specific niche, why not? Just again saying yes, fuck it, why not?
If I want to yap about Kabbalah, maybe I will just do videos about Kabbalah. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if
maybe,
I want to.
maybe. I, for
I don't
example,
know
want
if I want to structure them or if just let them be.
like okay, my own side of a coin. So I I love telling people like stories and the things that I've learned from them. I love educating other people on the things that I lived through or went through or read through. My whole basis of understanding reality. It's not like concepts. It's not structure. I don't like structure actually. For me, it's pure experience. It's just like the duality of this. I love people telling, oh look, I've used this structure to get this experience. You try this for yourself. And what I've done, I'm not doing like a niche videos on the system that I'm working on. It's more of me talking abstractly about the things I've learned with it, because of it, and just saying fuck it. Whenever I have this a rush of inspiration, I just go with it, and I do it. I should be doing it more, probably. I don't know, but I don't get this rush like most of the time. But whenever I do, I record it, I talk about my experience, and it sort of flows.
Maybe what could be of use to you is actually getting some time to reflect on your life
Oh,
and
definitely.
go back to the things that helped you through your life, because there is an immense amount of knowledge inside of you that could be transferred if you did some exercises with self-reflecting.
Mm, definitely. I mean, I learned that I'm actually a hermit archetype, and sort of withdrawal that I get from society, from others, from friends. I get the time I need to reflect. But if I was to truly like master my reality, I would have to, I don't know, escape to the mountains, because I get the most revelations, the deepest and like the best experiences when I'm like somewhere high, somewhere separated. Again, hermit type.
Yeah, that's interesting. I get most valuable insights from meditation, actually, and from studying. Yeah, from studying when something clicks inside of my brain.
Mm. For me, it always clicks whenever I am somewhere where a place where I have perspective. So, I can overlook things. I can. Have you seen? How's it called?
I've seen you in the
The
mountains when we were on the trip. You were basically just spitting out insight after insight as we were coming back to home.
yeah, it's just like it's where I feel like the best. So again, and I'm going to talk about human design because this is the key that I've been granted and I've come across. I understood that mountains are places which serve me the best because, again, it plays right into my archetype of hermit. It's places where I get perspective, it's places where my thoughts actually clear out. So, whenever, because I'm living in a city, I get this constant constriction. I don't feel like I can gain perspective, or I have the place to actually unwind my mind. And whenever I'm in a place where I have perspective, it and it doesn't always have to be mountains, just maybe like even exclusive places. I have like a revelation of some sort. I have a push of some sort. And like studying those principles, those effects, give me the right expression, the right perspective to later on teach others, because I love teaching others about
Yes,
things.
that's incredible.
And
What?
again,
Mhm.
like those playing your cards, it's like understanding. Hold on, I actually like those cards. I actually like those cards, and I'm learning how to play them again, learning my hand.
Yes, yes, that's it. The
You know what?
Hermit card,
Yeah,
for example, if you were to look at the image, it's number 9, and nines in astrology. Well, let me back down a little bit. If you look at the Hermit card, it's like a guy with a beard and he's standing on a mountain, and he basically is holding the lantern so that he can guide others, the people that are below him on the journey, because we are all climbing a mountain. That's the evolution. And I find it super interesting that if you correlate the hermit with the 9 from numerology, you realize that what is very important for nines, as they are very adaptable to their environment, is actually withdrawing from it, because as they gain more and more influxes from others, their self is getting molded to be more like them, less like themselves.
yeah.
And when they withdraw, when they actually go hermit mode on the high mountain and they are just by themselves, that's when they can understand themselves. That's when they can be themselves. And you need this time of withdrawal as a 9 to actually know what the fuck do you want from life. Because if you were living by the standards your family put on you, society put on you, it's not a great look. You won't be living authentically. You won't be living from your heart. You will be living in a lie. And why why do people crack like like a crackers when they do ayahuasca? That's basically because they were living life full of lies, and this spirit
And
that
getting
comes from
4D
them.
raped by a 4D prince demon. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Um,
Yeah, that might also be happening, but but I like more the interpretation that basically the truth is shown to them, and they have so much fucking lies that they go crazy to people that are looking from the outside, but
yeah,
they are actually aligning themselves with the truth. But if the awakening of those forces that are transformative and that are true good is very sudden and very powerful, it has a capacity to destroy a person.
I
That's
mean,
why it's said that Kundalini yoga is the most dangerous form of yoga, because you're working with a very powerful forces that have a potentiality to get you enlightened very quickly, but everything that is false about your reality will be stripped away from you with force. And if you're not able to take it for what it is and make changes accordingly, you might end up broken. You might end up going crazy.
and like, why do people get a midlife crisis? I mean, aside from any sort of astrology, any sort of like system, it's
I was
because
about to say Saturn
yeah,
return.
yeah, but in the systems, it's like you know, Chiron return and all of those things. It's when you actually just get a crack and you realize that everything you've been doing up to this point, it's a lie, and then you change yourself, and it's a sudden shift, not a gradual shift, because we operate the best with gradual shifts, not with the breaking of reality. And again, ayahuasca, just basically your mind getting reshuffled.
Yes. That's why I'm really big on healing and real and healing your traumas. Because I think if you don't do that, there is this quote by Jung that you don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light. You become enlightened by making the unconscious conscious, by bringing light to the shadows. And what does it mean? It basically means that whatever there is inside of you that is not healed, that is from a place of lack again, it will govern your life and you will call it faith. But if you were to go back, withdraw again from the world, you are able to heal those patterns that govern your life, and you are able to lay new seeds that are not contained by anything toxic and that can actually sprout into a flowers that you will enjoy and that can stay long term in your garden. Not ones that you will look at and you won't be satisfied. Well, it's not really a color I like, but my mother likes this color of flower. Yellow is not really my thing, but well, she enjoys it, so I won't cut it off. Dude, it's your fucking garden. Put the flowers that you want to be in this garden, you feel me?
And from duality, you create oneness. And with that, I think we can end this podcast. So,
Yeah, we can.
again, I think now is the section for those that actually did finish with us. My name is Jacob, or Project Nephilim on Twitter. I'm doing human design readings. If you want to transform your understanding of existence and how to best prepare yourself for a more fulfilling life free of resistance, DM me. I'm doing readings.
You will have links to my profiles in the description. I
Yeah.
also give readings, but I base that on tarot and on numerology. So they are a bit different. I think human design is better in a way for some people because I think it's more heady, while what I'm doing is there are two things basically that I'm doing. First is like a birth card presentations that are amazing for right hemisphere right hemisphere people because you are able to understand yourself through images instead through words. And the other readings are about you in the current moment and what is your way to go forward in life. Because there are, you can check just a page. If any of you need a guidance of some sort, you can DM me. I'm willing to like give guidance for now, at least for free, to people that are seeking truth and seeking spiritual development. It's fine. I just want to help.
Thank you again, and till the next
Yeah,
time.
thank you, my one